Jane, thank you very much. I really appreciate the introduction and all that you do and all that you give to the corporate team and to everybody that's connected with Essante. You do a lot, and I am so grateful for that. Everyone, my name is Tom Stark, and thank you for being here this evening. My wife Susan and I, we've been involved, as Jane mentioned, with Essante for a little over 2.5 years, and it's a company that we just love being a part of. We love the products, and love being able to talk to people and educate people about organics, about toxins, about chemicals, about all the negative side effects that go into products that many people use and consume daily, whether it's foods or skincare products or whatever. When we first got involved with Essante, a lot of the stuff that we did initially would be kind of traditional stuff. You go talk to your warm market, your friends, your family, and those kind of people right around you. You get to a point where you quickly get run out of those kind of leads. So what do? You've got to go find other ways to get your message to market so that people know what it is you're doing, why you're doing it, and how we can help solve problems. One of the things that we have gotten to be very, very passionate, I guess, would that be a word you would use? We love doing live events. We do it in a variety of ways. This past weekend, we did an event outside of Ann Arbor, Michigan, called the 2018 Great Lakes Veg Bash. And it was a group of vegans, vegetarians, and they get together and they have all kinds of events and things that go on during the day on Saturday. A lot of food trucks, a lot of different kinds of speakers, music, all kinds of things. Last year, they had over 3,000 people in attendance. This year, it wasn't quite that large, as it turns out, but it was a lot of people. So we had the opportunity to partner with the group that organizes this, Quintessential Productions, and so we were there. We love doing this, and there's a couple of reasons for it. One is that it really helps us begin to clarify what we're doing, why we're doing it. So whenever we go out and we do an event or we do a meetup group or we have some activity where we are connected, we always have a goal, we always have a plan or a purpose for what we are doing. And so this weekend was no different. We knew there were going to be a lot of people, but we had a purpose, we had a goal for why we were there. And so I just want to encourage you, it's not just doing an event and showing up and putting out products and looking good and all that, being able to answer questions. It's knowing why you're there. Some of it has to do with our purpose for being in business, but some of it is very specific to the purpose for doing that event. And so we were pretty clear that we wanted to meet certain people, we wanted to meet certain kinds of people, we wanted to be exposed in a certain area where we thought there was going to be a market niche overlap where we could find people to talk to, where it was going to be a more natural audience. So we had a purpose and we had a plan, and so we'll reveal some of that as we go along. We also have really spent a lot of time thinking about who our target market is, who our target audience is. And it's interesting because the more we get attuned to that, it's like we want to talk to everybody who comes up to our table. We want to talk to everybody who's there. But honestly, there are people who you just gravitate to and who gravitate to you. Why is that? Because there are certain things in my life that I look at, some of my experiences that I can read in other people. The same is true for my wife. She has a certain acuity for understanding why someone is approaching us at the table, and we begin to ask questions. But it really is honing in on who our target is. There were certain people there who, we talked to, but we knew it wasn't quite resonating, and maybe it was because of us, maybe it was because of them. But there were people there that we were able to engage in conversation, and we got good contact information. And in fact, our kind of the rate of names and email addresses and that sort of information that we acquired, we did better this time than any other event. It was almost 50% of those people who we talked to, we ended up coming out with contact information. We also prepared. And Susan, at least 2 days before, and maybe 3, set up a table in our basement and said, okay, this is where I want this position, this is where I want that position, and kind of played around with it a little bit. There was a strategy and there was a plan for all the things that we had on our table, given the space that we thought we would have available to us. And so it was organized beforehand. And she'd go down and look in the basement, and she'd kind of futz around a little bit, move things here, move things there. But eventually she got a look that she felt would be appealing, not just for her and me, but for those people who'd be approaching our table. So prepare your table and understand that it has to have a certain look so that people want to come to you. Do you have a good tablecloth? Do you have something that, good signage? Do you have an elevation or a height that when people look at it, they can see it from different dimensions? How much table space do you have? These are all part of the preparation things that you need to know about to be able to take advantage of your time there when you're in front of people. Do you know where your table is going to be? A lot of times we show up and we don't exactly know, but sometimes we do. And if we get to choose and pick where we are going to be, we always look around to find where are people entering the room from, which direction are they going, where is the flow of traffic going to be, because we want to be the first one that they see or the last one or the other, but we want to be visible and we want to be remembered. So, you know, other things, just real basic things. Do you need electricity, and do they have electricity? But probably the most important thing is mindset. When you go to an event, you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared to talk to people. You have to be in that mindset that it's worth the time, it's worth the energy, it's worth the money, it's worth the message to get out so that you can have a good overall experience. As we were setting up on Saturday, there was a vendor for another company who accidentally knocked something over. And just the words that came out of her mouth, it was repelling. It just pushed people away. None of the vendors wanted to go talk to her. And really, she did not have a great day. And part of it was because her attitude was so negative and so bad. We went in with a smile. We went in with the expectation that people were going to want to talk to us. Went in with the expectation that people wanted to know more about organics, about toxic-free living. We chose a table. We had a chance to choose our table, and this time we chose a table that was next to the Plant-Based Nutrition Support Group. That was their name. And I chose that table in part because when I looked at their literature, I realized that they had a mailing list of 5,600 people. And that was a large mailing list. So if we're going to be someplace where we have a chance to connect with lots of people, we wanted to be in that place. But we were open, we were looking for a placement, and we found that one, and it turned out to be a very good strategy for us. So that was all in the preparation phase. It's some of the things that we know that we need to do, that we have to do on our end in order to be ready to be prepared. One of the other things that really is important, and this is the second part of it, is that you have to support the promoter. You have to promote the event on behalf of the promoter. You know, the first few times that we participated in events like this, we really didn't do that, to be honest with you. And we started looking around and realized that nobody else was promoting it either. We expected, as vendors, we were kind of expecting the organizers to promote the event and have people come to us. And so we've made a concerted effort this time to make sure that we promoted the event. We put stuff out on Facebook, created a Facebook group, did a couple other things to get information in front of people saying, you know what, this is where we're going to be on Saturday. This is what we're going to do. And we were promoting and supporting the promoters, but at the same time, obviously, we're bringing attention to what we are doing. Oops, sorry about that. We also promoted ourselves, as I mentioned. So we did put stuff up on Facebook. We did put some curiosity posts out there. One of them was, hey, what are you doing on the weekend? You know, if you're doing your honeydew list, too bad for you. We're going to be at a Veg Fest having fun with 3,000 of our best friends. And by the way, you should get there early because there's going to be a lot of people there. So where we have a chance to get information out like that in front of people, then we should do that. Promote during the event. And a lot of people, I was watching the room on Saturday, and I watched who is doing Facebook Lives, who is doing Instagram things. And I didn't see another vendor there who did that. I didn't see a single one of them. I even talked to a few of them. Are you going to do this today? You know, can we work together on this? I can interview you. I can hold your camera. We can do whatever so that you can get your message out there. But truly, people don't promote while they're at the event. And so we did that. We put up a Facebook We did a live stream from the event on Saturday. I tagged the plant-based nutrition support group people in part because I knew they had 5,600 people. They had a mailing list that's already established. They have a Facebook group, and so I wanted to make sure that if we could get our boost in post from looking at somebody else's work, then we did that. We wanted to make sure that that was out there. Did our promotion lead to anything? Did that come, were people, our friends or folks who we know, did they come to us on Saturday because of what we did? And the answer is probably not. I didn't see a single person that I knew. But I will tell you this, wherever we have done this in the past with other events, people notice. Our friends notice and everybody else notices who are on Facebook. And folks will come to us later. It may be a week later, it may be 2 months later, it may be 6 months later, but somewhere down the road, people who we know see this and they recognize that what we're doing. And so I want to encourage you. It's not, you got to get the information out there. You've got to promote and support the promoter, but at the same time, be smart about it. Promote yourself. And even if you don't have somebody there that you kind of personally brought in because of your promotion, trust me, people are watching, people are looking, and you want to get your word out there. It's part of the way we build our message and build our brand. So that was step 2. Step 1 was prepare, have some reason, have a game plan for what you're doing. Step 2 is promote, figure out how you're going to get information out there so that people can see it, both for the particular event and for those people later that you can follow up with. The third thing, Jane, is to add value. We have to find ways to create value. And so the first way we do that, it's real simple. Michael says this a lot on some of his Facebook Lives, Toxic Free Friday. If you're going to give something away, what do you give away? You give away a smile. If you're there with a bad attitude and a grumpy expression on your face, no one's really going to want to talk to you. But if you're smiling, if you're approaching people, if you're saying hello, if you're greeting, whether they're interested in what we have to offer or not is immaterial. We are there to build relationships. We're there to build connections. And we're there to help add to their experience in going to that particular event. So smile and be prepared to be friendly, and then smile some more, and then repeat it. Rinse and repeat. Just keep doing it, and you got to do it for the whole day. This particular event, Susan was there for 10 hours. It was a long day for her. And yet, that attitude, that smile, that presence was there throughout the entire day. Be interested in people and why they came. So there's a lot of folks where we approached them. We were fairly aggressive, where we just went out and said, hey, how you doing? Are you liking the event? Are you enjoying it? It's a beautiful day, isn't it? Why did you come here? What brought you to this particular event today? Be interested in them and be interested in why they came. It's for them. It's not for us. So we were real aggressive with that and just making sure that we connected with people, whether they were interested in product or not, or talking about anything. It didn't really matter. We wanted to connect with folks. We always have to have something of value to give away. Always have to have something of value to give away. And I hope Michael doesn't mind if I say this, because I know he's done this for me and he's done this for others. But corporate will, if you have a giveaway where you draw names out of a hat and somebody wins, they win a free website. They will win up to $50 worth of product. And it's an amazing thing when you tell somebody, hey, you know what, if you give us some contact information, allow us to follow up a little bit, then boom, here you go. And so people are interested in that. You have to create value. You have to be able to give something away. But this time we did something a little different. I recently wrote an ebook. It was on our gut health, Gut Flora and You is the title of it. And so I had a copy of the ebook with us. Susan has an ebook on alkalizing and the importance of alkalizing. So you have these things available. You want people to see it. You want them to be able to touch it, especially if it's visually, graphically attractive and nice to look at. You don't want them to take it. What you want is, this is an ebook. If you give me your name, you give me your phone number, or you give me contact information, I will be happy to send you the ebook. And so we had that this past weekend. It was available to us. It was available to other people. There are other products that we also offer. as a company, Power Pops, or the sample sizes for the sanitizer, the NAPCA, or the different products that we have, you can have that as an enticement, and you can have that to give away. But probably the most important thing in the end is smiling. It's being friendly. We are there to help people solve problems. We're there to help create solutions. And in order to do that, we have to be in a position where we understand and we know what it is they want, why they came that day, what it is they're looking for. And if I can help solve that, great. If I can refer them to another vendor, fine. If I can refer them to a friend of mine who may be in another business or another thing, but they're not there, give me your name, give me your email address. I will be happy to connect you. Provide compliments. And not just a compliment just to be nice, but everybody wants to be recognized in some way. So in creating value, you also want to create an authentic compliment. So if someone does something, they say something, they smile, they have an interesting shirt on or something, comment on it. We had a lady on Saturday approach us, and her t-shirt said, something about I sparkle. My personality is this, and I sparkle. And then she happened to look at the toothpaste and went, oh, wow, your toothpaste is named Sparkle. So, wow, ma'am, how long did it take for you to get here today? Oh, 4 hours. I came from Valparaiso, Indiana. And it was a long drive for her. But we smiled. She smiled. We recognized the commonality between the sparkle on her shirt. We complimented her on that. Then she realized the toothpaste and the brand and the name and all that. Got a great conversation going. We got her name. We got her email address, we got a phone number, and she actually bought one of the sample products, or got one of the sample products from the sanitizer. So it was a very, very cool thing. But the most important thing in all this, in creating value, is that you have to know why you're there. You simply have to know why you're there. And so for us, the big thing wasn't so much with sales. If we made a few sales and made a few dollars, that's great, we can do that. But the big reason to do events like this is that the value we want to create is new contacts. We want to build our list. And so we walked out on Saturday with a very, very good list of names of people to follow up with and contact, because we went there not expecting to sell. We went there expecting to engage, educate, build relationships, and walk out with a list. And that's exactly what we did. It went very well. So in creating value, I'm going to say a couple things here. I'm going to repeat myself. Smile and be friendly. Greet people and be friendly. Listen and be friendly and smile. I can't emphasize that enough. Be in a good mood. Greet people and help them feel like they are special, because they took time out of their day to come pay for an event, not to be hawked, but to be appreciated. And so that was something that we really took away from this past weekend. It was great. We also had a clipboard. The clipboard had a lot of tear-off items on it: name, address, phone number, email address, rather, not home address. And we would talk to people and we'd say, look, we'd love to be able to connect with you afterward. If we have this information, can we contact you? And a couple of people said, yeah, great, no problem. A couple of people, I don't know. So, what do you say? At least in one instance, I just said, we promise not to harass you unless you want to be harassed. And if you want to be harassed, and I may not actually call you, I'm not quite sure. But, you make fun of it. You make light of it. And people kind of lighten up a little bit. They relax. They understand that you're really not out to just take their money, per se, and that you're really out there to help them. And so, that was a big part of what we did on Saturday. Engage in conversation. It's always about them. It's always about them. And never mistake that. It is always about them. Listen and learn. What is going on in their life? What do they need? Do they need more income? Do they know anybody in their life who might need the products that we have? We listen and we learn. Expect no's. We had about a 50% rate on Saturday of collecting information, either business cards. Actually, we got more than 50% in terms of business cards. But expect no's. That's okay. Expect yeses. That's okay too. And we got a lot of them on Saturday. And it was an awesome thing. We are solution providers. We are problem solvers. We're not salespeople. We have to engage in conversation. We want to listen to people. One of the things that my mentor taught us, and taught Susan and me, is that when you're talking to people, you're really not talking just to them. You're talking to people who they know. You're talking to the people behind them in their family or in their workplace. And so as we engage with folks on Saturday, we're also looking at that army of people that's behind them. So we want to be able to connect with them. We want to learn as much as we can about those people so that when we follow up, we can follow up with purpose. So item number 4 is what determines if your event was successful. So we collected names, we collected email addresses, we have some phone numbers. That's all good. But what determines the success or not is how we follow up. I think you've all heard it before. The fortune or the favor is in the follow-up. So if we collect all these names and we don't do anything with them, then it doesn't matter. We didn't have to go. We didn't have to spend the money or the time. You have to follow up. So one of the things with following up with leads in events like this is that you have to call people within 48 hours to follow up, and especially those people where you were able to get particular information. We know of some people who really want information on the sanitizer, others who really were interested in the protein shakes, others in the toothpaste. We write that down. We write that down so that we know how to follow up with people. But you have to follow up within 48 hours, or they begin to lose interest and they lose their memory that they even talked to you. People lose about 10% of the excitement each day after an event, and that's them and us. And so the longer it takes for us to follow up, the harder it is for us to do it, and the harder it is for them to really want to connect, because we obviously didn't show that we're interested in them. So we need to follow up. And if you do, then the event was successful. If your list continues to grow, it will be successful. And then be sure to add people. If you have an email list, if you have an email autoresponder, or something like Aweber or GetResponse or any of those email services, MailChimp, make sure you add that email list so that you can then send out periodic e-blasts or connect with them on a regular routine basis, maybe a newsletter, but something where you are in connection with them and in contact with them. That's what will determine whether your event was successful or not. And Jane, the 5th and the final point is this, and that's debrief. Fortunately, Susan and I, we work together and we work well together. So we had kind of a planning session as we were driving there on Saturday. What are we going to, in fact, we drove in separate cars. We were on the phone half the time. Okay, what are we going to do here? What are we going to do there? Let's think about this. Let's pray about this. Let's prepare. But on the way home, afterward, it's like, okay, what worked? What didn't work? If you could do something different, what would it be? In this case, we did not bring an electrical cord. And if we had, we would have been able to do a couple more things than we were able to do. So they had electricity there. Unfortunately, the electrical outlets were at the top of the wall of the barn that we were in, so it was up a good 9 feet. And so it was really difficult to get to. So we didn't have that opportunity to have our laptop out to show some product videos, like the sanitizer video that Jane and Angie Levine did. That sort of stuff, if you can have that going, if that's in motion, people can look at that while they were waiting to talk to you or while they're looking at information. So we didn't have an electrical cord this time, and that's something that we will make sure we have the next time. Probably the other big takeaway, Jane, is that we did not do a product demonstration this time, and next time we will. The Z3 line for an event like this would have been really, really good. We had the product with us. We just didn't take the time to get it out and say, okay, let's show people how this product works. There were a lot of vegans there. There were a lot of vegetarians. And so for a lot of those folks, they were really interested in nutrition. But they already had their mind made up about what kind of nutrition. So some of them weren't that interested in the products that we have. But many people were interested in the skincare, because they also know the toxic chemicals that go on in their body, and all that stuff. And we have a great line of products with that, and we have more coming, or I believe we have more coming soon. Anyway, Jane, I'd like to hand the call back to you. I hope people found value with this. If you have any questions, I'd love to be able to connect with you on Facebook. My name is Tom Stark, and it's Tom with an H, T-H-O-M. But we'd love to be able to connect with you. And if you have any questions or tips, things that you want to offer to us, Susan and I would love to be able to hear that as well. So Jane, thank you. Michael, thank you for having us on the call this evening, and God bless everybody.